Welcome to the Dr. Stevens and Swearington Show, hosted by executive producers Dr. Michelle Stevens and co-host Coach Yava Swearington, as they focus on important issues within our society, from the highs and lows of surviving everyday life that are real, relevant, and engaging. And now, here are your hosts. Welcome to the Dr. Stevens and Swearington Show. Today, during our show, we're going to be talking about a very hot topic: the shortage of Black male excellence. Hi, I'm Dr. Stevens, your host. Thank you for tuning in to Season 1, Episode 5 of the Dr. Stevens and Swearington Show. Along with me is the co host, Coach Yava Swearington.
Hi and welcome. I am Coach Yava Swearington. Today we are excited to bring to you our fourth episode, The Shortage of Black Male Excellence, where we will discuss some heartfelt truth, beliefs, and realities.
Please don't forget to like and subscribe at YouTube and at Dr. SNS Show. There you can check out our upcoming shows. Today we have some special guests. But before I bring our guest up, I want to talk to Coach Yaba about this very hot topic: the shortage of Black male excellence. You know, when I think about Black male excellence, I think about leadership in our community. So I'm real excited about this topic, Coach Yaba. We've had other topics where we've had men on our show. So I'm sure this is going to be a really interesting and exciting show. I've been so excited about this, just this show here, where the men are coming together with us to discuss shortage of Black male excellence. Give me your thoughts on that real quick
Oh,
before we
yes.
get stuff.
I am very excited and I really thank the two gentlemen for appearing on our show today. I'm very excited about them coming here to share their insight about what they know as being Black male. We as women, we need to have their views being displayed where they can have a better understanding. So we have two excellent Black men that will be appearing today. They have experience in these discussions that we're going to be talking about, and I'm excited to hear their views on this. So yes, looking very forward to this day.
But won't you introduce our guests? Bring them on in.
Yes, we're going to have Michael Harris.
Hey guys, how are you? Good to be there today.
Hi, and welcome, Michael Harris. And we also going to have today Michael Brown that will be joining us.
Hello, hello, everybody. Dr. Michelle, Coach Yava, thank you for having me today on your show.
Yes, Mr. Brown, thank you for coming today. We're going to have Mr. Harris and you both share a little bit about you guys so we can have our audience have a little view of who you guys are that will be talking on this very topic today. So please, Michael Harris, you can go ahead and start if you would like.
Okay, definitely a pleasure, Coach Warrington. Good to be here on your show. I'm a fan of the show. It's a wonderful show. It's an opportunity to get some discussion out on some very important topics and issues. So thank you for having me on your show. I am happily married, a family man. I want to put my family first. My lovely wife had an opportunity to appear on your show as well on one of the women topics, and we love watching that. But we're married. I have three children that we've raised. All the children are grown. I myself was prior military. After serving in the military as an airborne ranger, I practiced law for over 20 years as a trial lawyer, both civil and criminal trial lawyer, and also real estate. Spent many years in the real estate law arena as well. Recently, I've transitioned into the business side of real estate, and that's what I'm doing now. And other than that, we just, leaning forward and being positive and continuing to try to make a difference in my own children's lives as well as, anyone else we're able to touch.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Give us
Yes,
a little short description of who you are.
absolutely. Once again, my name is Michael Brown. I too am a married man, stepdad towards my children, but they are mine. So I fulfilled that role when men was not involved. So yes, we are out here to take care of children that may not be ours. Furthermore, I've had background experience in building construction, a lot of different trades. I'm a black belt in Taekwondo, so I believe in health and physical fitness and protection. I also believe in growing food, so I'm creating businesses in which we grow food and we learn how to aggregate and come together so that we as a people can become more powerful. I'm an entrepreneur minded person and I'm free spirited. I have a little bit of college experience, you know, but I believe in self education and having the zeal to want to research and learn to find the truth for yourself. And there's so much more I can say, but yes, coming, that's just my brief testimony of who I am before I go on the tangent. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
Awesome.
Well, thanks, all, and thank you, men, for sharing. You know, that takes us into our next topic. And I am truly, truly excited to hear your perspective. What happened to Black male leadership in the home and in the community? When I think about leadership and where we see the lack of Black men today, I think about the absence of fathers in the home, um, the lack of male leadership. So give me your thoughts on exactly what happened or where we are when it comes to Black male leadership. Mr. Harris.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Stevens. It's interesting. Mr. Brown had made some comments a little earlier that we were talking before the show started, and it's kind of how you really define shortage and how you define excellence. Because if you look at popular culture, for example, you can probably see that many examples of Black male excellence in say popular culture, like say, for example, our former President Obama couldn't have been a better example of a father of daughters, leader of the world, of the country, and of the world, and was just an example of excellence in just about every measurable way that you can define excellence in that regard as a Black male. You can also, look at certain sports figures. Recently in the news, Magic Johnson just acquired ownership over a professional team, sports team. Michael Jordan is the owner of a sports team, and these guys are examples of excellence that people can see not only athletically but also in the business world as well. So you can kind of look and see so many examples of Black excellence out there to kind of motivate, and these guys serve as role models for other people to follow. But then if I also look immediately to my own family, people who are not in the popular culture, I've got three brothers. I've got a brother who's a great family man, Anthony, and he's a retired command sergeant major in the military. Is the highest enlisted rank you can go. I got another brother who's a retired naval non-commissioned officer, and he has beautiful family as well, and has always been a stable family person. Another brother who's 25 years as New York Transit with three thriving, beautiful children. He's always been the head of his household. And these are all examples of Black excellence, Black male excellence. So you kind of I look immediately inward first, and I do see examples of Black excellence. And I think it's there. I think we don't always get the credit that we deserve for showing that there's Black male excellence, uh, that's contributing in a major way. And I think we deserve more credit. But at the same time, if you look at some other figures, and I told you I practiced criminal defense, and if you look at some of the statistics, for if you look at the incarceration rate, 1 out of 9 Black men in this country is incarcerated.
Mm-hmm.
That's 1 in 9 that's
Mm,
incarcerated. And when you compare that to white men is 1 in 100.
mm.
Black men is 1 in 9. So those numbers are devastating. So
Yes, they are.
how much more Black excellence would we see
Mm.
if we had an improvement on just the incarceration rates of all of our Black men that are being locked up in jails and prisons across this country, across the board. And if we had an improvement in that category, there's no doubt about it. You would see more Black excellence, uh, where we wouldn't necessarily be having this discussion. If you
Yeah,
if you look
yeah.
at high school graduation rates and college graduation rates, we're at the lowest. Black males are at the
Absolutely.
lowest college graduation rates, and that also affects our degree of excellence that's impacted into this to the community, to the country, and to the world at large. And you got higher rates of African American women graduating. Higher African American women are just beating males by a good sizable margin as far as college graduation rates. That's
Well,
current.
I want to interrupt you just a minute, because you made some very, very strong points, and I do want to address some of them, but I want to give Mr. Brown
Yes,
at least
by all means.
a minute, an opportunity to address that question: what happened to Black male leadership in the home and in the community? Because you said something, Mr. Harris, that was so important, and I'm going to come back to that. But Mr. Brown, I'm going to give you a few minutes just to chime in on that question. What do you think is happening with our Black men leadership?
Yes. I don't believe that there is quite a shortage, and I'm going to tell you why. Let's go back to Tulsa, Oklahoma, back when Greenwood, when all the Black people aggregated to that 40 acres of land. They made it happen. They kept the money within their society. They taught their children. That was an example. So what happened? I'm going to watch what I say, but we have other people that came and infiltrated and created fear within the Black man, causing a division amongst our Black women, creating laws like Jim Crow, creating different scenarios of depression and oppression, creating music and media to dictate and create images in our mind in which we can't function. Life and death is in the power of your tongue. So when people state that there is a deficit, or shall I say that there is something going on in the Black community, is true, but you have to recognize the problem and come with the solution. Well, you know what the quote unquote world thinks about us as a people, and how they strategically create think tanks to put us in the situation that we are currently in. So all of our brothers and sisters that are incarcerated, but yet our other counterparts, the other Caucasian and the other people, don't get hit with the same stereotypical images and rules and disciplines that we have experienced. Acknowledging this and understanding that the war is against our children, that the war is against our homes, our people, is we have to strategically come up with a system of our own. Now, once again, they created a system, they placed fear by killing all of those Black excellence, male and female. Then they caused us to come back and work for them. And they caused more of an issue, created think tanks and laws that caused the Black man not to be able to provide for his family and make him
Well, right
feel.
there on that note, that was a good. On that note, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, I want to go back to Mr. Harris because there was something you had said, and I want to address it, and that you answered. But we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna talk a little bit more about the Black man being incarcerated and the absence of Black fathers in the home. So we'll be right back.
Hey, it's your girl, Coach Mia, asking you to join the conversation on the SNS show, hosted by executive producer Dr. Michelle Stevens, along with her co-host, Coach Yava Swearington, sharing an in-depth conversations on relationships, health and wellness, important issues in our society, to the highs and lows of surviving everyday life. Streaming live on YouTube at DRSNS Show. That's DRSNS ANDSSHOW, monthly every fourth Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
Hello, and thank you guys for tuning in. This subject is really, really hot, and I think I can't wait to finish hearing the perspective of these gentlemen speaking on our show today. We're going to go ahead and continue talking about the essence of Black men in the homes. And we're going to go ahead and come back to, I think, Mr. Harris and Mr. Brown to continue their discussion on this matter. But I do believe that Dr. Stevens wants to speak on something that they had spoke about.
Yes, I want to bring Mr. Harris up because he mentioned about the black men being incarcerated, which is so impactful in the black community. Because when I think about black men not being in the home and the absence of fathers and the male influence in the home, that's a very important subject and matter when children are not seeing their fathers in the home and the fathers are incarcerated. Mr. Harris, I want you
Yeah.
to elaborate on that a little bit more.
Oh yeah, you said it. I couldn't have said it any better than you just said it. When you pull the number of blacks that are incarcerated in jails and prisons across this country, you're directly taking men out of the home. They're out of the home and they're serving jail and prison times, and they're away from children. Many of them are fathers. They have wives. They have girlfriends, significant others that would be wives if they were not in jail, and this is a devastating impact on the community overall. And in many cases, and I've represented many people in these circumstances. In many cases, these are bright, intelligent people with potential for enormous futures for themselves and for their
Absolutely.
families.
Absolutely.
And
And
this,
when I think about the talent that's locked up, you know what I mean? These men who are incarcerated and women, but we're talking about the black male. The when I used to do prison ministry, and when I would go inside and see these men in there and the gifts that they have, the talent from drawing, writing, we got authors and lawyers. Some of these and they are getting law degrees. You
Yes,
know, we have some excellent, educated men who are incarcerated. But
right.
on that note, I want to ask you to give some advice because both of you all are fathers, stepdads, and I want you to give what advice would you give black men who are fathers and stepdads? Mr. Brown, I'll let you go first on that. What advice would you give men who are fathers and stepdads?
All right, all right. I believe that the man is supposed to be the head of the house. That doesn't mean he go around and tell the woman exactly everything that she should and shouldn't do. Because if she's virtuous, then she's walking in that way anyway. She's prosperous. So I want to reflect on that. The male, the young man needs to have a strong hand. He needs to see one that is disciplined and balanced. He needs to learn. A young man can't learn from a woman as much as he can learn to become a nurturer in some absence, other than becoming a brute beast. You don't want to talk about that. But we can learn to adapt to some of the characteristics of a woman. But a man has to learn how to become a man. You're born into a world to become a male, but not everybody becomes a man. And we want to put stipulations on what is the definition of a man. I believe a man is if you brought a seed into this world and you have an opportunity to share your gifts, your talent, your love, learn the 5 love languages, show that child that you are special, that you're a king, and that you don't have to submit yourself to selling drugs. You don't have to go out there and be around people that you can't trust. You don't have to do any of those things, but you can learn to become as strong as you can be. I believe that's important. Stepdads, men that decide to step in place of fathers that can't be there, regardless of what their circumstances may be. They may be alive, or they may be incarcerated, or they may not be here. I'm a stepfather. I decided to take that role. It wasn't easy. I was told everything like, you ain't my daddy and all that. But I said, you know what? It's going to work out. It's going to work out. I had to learn to love in spite of them not wanting to love me.
Hold on that note because I have a question concerning that you're not my dad situation. Mr. Harris, give us your thought.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Brown. And I absolutely agree with you as far as the male being the head of the home. Uh, but in that vein, as advice, I would tell young men and old men, I would tell black men, period, that God must rule you
Come on,
first before you can be ahead of any home.
come
You
on.
got to you got to submit yourself to God before you
Absolutely.
can lead and follow. And I would try to advise them that family comes first. Your children, your spouse, the significant person that you're with, they come first. So all your resources economically, your resources emotionally, you got to put that towards your family ahead of your own personal needs, wants, and desires.
So,
And if
Mr. Harris, I don't mean to cut you off, but let me ask you this quick question. Because I've talked to men who say, they don't want to be step dummies. They feel like they're going to be taken advantage of, or they don't want the responsibility, or there will be a problem. Tell me, what's your thought on a man who thinks in that manner? Because everybody has the opportunity to make that choice. It's their right. But what advice would you give a man that feel that way?
as far as the stepfathering,
Yes.
well, I point back to Joseph. Joseph was stepfather to Jesus. Look what that produced. And without Joseph had a nurturing hand in the savior of the world. Stepfathers play an important role. And we're all stepchildren as Gentiles in as Christians. We're those who are not original Jews, the Gentiles, and they open the doors for the Gentiles. So the stepfather plays an amazing role. I happen to be a stepfather to two boys myself. I was raised myself by a stepfather. So the impact that stepfathers have is tremendous, and it goes back for the beginning of time.
Well, that,
As
that means
Let
that,
me
that
speak.
means that we have
Hold
a
on a
definitely.
second. I'm gonna
Go
speak
ahead,
on to
Coach
that for
Alvin.
just I'm gonna speak on that for just a moment. I'm gonna ask both of you gentlemen, or either one can take this. So, would you say that definitely there's a breakdown? I would say there's a breakdown in where it all starts at home. I think if we do as women, if we do a better job in educating and teaching and talking to our children about their role as they come up as a male child, I think if we do a better job at that, that we can kind of get ahead of the game. Especially for us, me, because I raised two sons without a father in the home. So, and I can tell you that it was a not an easy task. And it's just something that happens with men and boys when they are listening to a male figure giving them advice or instruction about how to go about life. I think that's important to have that in their life early on because that's where I think we drop the ball. We women are put on the responsibility to do the roles of a man. And like Mr. Harris and Mr. Brown has stated, that is something that we really not able to do. And I think that's where the ball really falls. Because, and another thing, the incarceration part, when we talk about that section there, it's because they are so ready to have black men not succeed in life that as soon as they get in trouble, it's a slap of being in jail for a very long time and they can't get back. How about we have some type of programs where as soon as they get in trouble, we give them that second chance before it gets really bad and out of hand. So that's kind of how I feel about that. And this is why we don't have excellence for black children or black males coming up in the home. But I do think that if we do get ahead of the game and try to show them what they need to be doing early out, that we can get the mindset right before they get in the streets and be led by other children who are doing the wrong thing. That's my thought on that.
Well, Coach Java, you said something. You said something about the women, the mothers, and you said if the mothers, and you can put Coach Java back on it, or bring her back up where we can have this dialogue. You said if the mothers teach the children, begin to teach the children. And that's a good segue into our next topic because mothers nowadays being that There are a lot of single mothers who are leading the heads of houses, and they're very strong. Due to the impact of the trauma and the stresses of life, women we've had to be very assertive and aggressive in order to survive. So and we're labeled, and I'm one of those labeled as a strong Black woman. And that takes us right into our next question. What advice would you give Black men on dealing with strong Black women, Mr. Harris?
Well, a strong Black woman, and I salute you and all the strong Black women out there, that's a success multiplier. You have to embrace that. You have a strong Black woman, and you have something that's going to enhance your chances for success in every measurable way of success. So embrace it. Don't run from it. Don't flee from it. Embrace it. Roles in the home are flexible. Be flexible. I like to cook, so I don't mind cooking. So I don't put a label on cooking is a woman's job or what have you. And then some of the roles that my wife might take on might be more considered some of the male roles. And that's fine. If she does something better than me, let her have it. Let her run with it because we're going to benefit as a family. So
Mr. Brown?
I
Go ahead.
say,
I'm sorry, Mr. Harris. Go ahead, Mr.
yeah,
Harris.
yeah, embrace it. Don't run from it, and don't feel emasculated by it. Don't feel like your manhood is being challenged.
Right.
No, it's for the family, and you're still a man. She wouldn't be in love with you if you were weak. She's with you because you're strong.
Yes,
you
sir.
know that's a good thing, because a lot of men, and we had a show on that, understanding us the Black woman. When they see a strong Black woman, they label them as masculine, having masculine energy. You know, Mr. Brown's your thought on your advice you would give Black men on dealing with strong Black women?
Well, what I would first of all I would like to say, how can two walk unless they agree? So
Mm.
if you have a strong Black woman, she expects you to be the king and to be a strong Black man. Because the world is not going to be fair to you, and it's not easy. And it's not polite. It's not easy.
Amen.
Okay. It's not easy. All right. Um, Guys that are insecure because of a strong Black woman, they are afraid of the stature or the status that they're trying to place them in. And what happens is they'll feel as if maybe they don't belong there. And they don't understand why a strong woman may consider them. It's because she sees something in you. You have to understand that a strong Black woman is necessary to raise Black children because we stubborn. We need a strong hand. We need that discipline. We are Black and beautiful. We are bold, and our children come out the womb like that and have to be corrected.
You
They
know,
have to be tested. They
Mr. Brown,
have to.
I'm gonna speak to you on that. Similar to that, I think if we get ahead of the game and start having the male and the female come together and they have an understanding of what their roles are, like really have that discussion versus just going in a home and then she's doing this and he's doing this, but there's no agreement there, right? And when you don't have an agreement between two individuals who's trying to show up in front of children, the children are confused and don't know who to listen to and who to listen, especially if you come in as a stepdad. They're gonna feel like I'm gonna listen to mom because I had that in my own marriage, right? They only want to listen to what mom says. They totally cancel out the male, you know. But the problem is we have to come together as couples and agree to our roles and how we're gonna run it and make sure we watch it between each other so we can show up right in front of the children when we're on display.
That's a good.
I think there's a brokenness with that, and that's why we have children not listening to the male or the female, whether it's a man bringing a woman into the picture or a woman bringing a male into the picture.
May I
And on
expound?
that note, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about um, fears that you didn't know existed. We'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Dr. Michelle Stevens, a certified master life and wellness coach and minister of the gospel. I help women move from stagnation to certainty, uncover who they are, create goals, and build strategies to success. Schedule a 45-minute consultation with me and let's jumpstart your journey to a new beginning. You may email me at contact us at drsnsshow.com, or you may call to schedule a session with me at 866-377-7469. And let me help you heal mind, body, and soul. Step out of ordinary into extraordinary.
I am Coach Yaba Clarendon, and I am a professional certified life coach and a relationship consultant. I help individuals and couples with relationship concerns. I will assist you with the tools you need to have the power to let go of a relationship that no longer serves you and or to strengthen your relationship. I am looking forward to impacting, empowering, and restoring the sense of self. Schedule an individual or group session with me at toll-free 1-866-377-7469 extension 800 #, or you may email me at contact us at drsnsshow.com. Remember, seek clarity, embrace it. That's a part of taking care of you, and you will begin to notice that the storm has settled. Welcome back. We are talking about some fears Black men have. Not Dr. Stevens. I want to talk to Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown, can you share some feelings, fears that Black men have for us? Can you give us your output on that?
Yes, I can speak about my fears because what you want to do is you want to turn your fears into strengths. So by you recognizing your fear, that allow you to become an overcomer, and that allows your faith to increase as well. So my fear is this, and I'm not afraid of anything, but there is a fear, godly fear. All right, I have a job. I work very hard, and us as Black men is dealing with racism, dealing with targets of fiery darts from the enemy, left and right, defamation of character and integrity at all times. We out there hot with no AC. We out there in the cold with no heat. We come home and then we have to help manage the house. The woman is already nurturing. She's already teaching. She's already doing, and she's tired too. All right now. So here we go. The roles between a man and a woman ought to be balanced. So the fear is, what if I go out to work and a devil comes in my face and spits in my face because I'm a Black strong man and they're trying to defamate my character and trying to destroy my life? I have to pass this test because I can't let my wife down. I can't let my children down. I can't let myself down. Trying to keep a job when they're trying to cause you to lose it, or trying to make a way for your family when they deny you that privilege. It is rough for the Black men. It is tough for the Black men. Women don't even have a clue. And we don't want to talk about it but then when we come home sometimes, we yell and argue and bicker because we frustrated. And that's wrong. We're not supposed to channel our frustrations from the job and bring it home. Some of
Okay.
them, some of them
Thank you.
drown it in alcohol. That's so much.
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah.
Brown, for your insight on that. And Mr. Harris, go ahead and show us your view on this same topic
Man,
of fear.
that was deep, brother Brown. Man, that was so deep. You got me stunned on that one, and it's so true. The things that you face when you go out there and tackle this world, and you have a world that's just don't it's just set against seeing the Black male succeed, and so I thank you for sharing that. My perspective was a little different than Mr. Brown's. I try to turn fear into faith, and I try not to navigate my life with fear and things that may cause fear. I try to replace it with faith, and I think Mr. Brown mentioned that as well about faith. But I do have some concerns as a Black male, things that concern me. One at the top of the list is maintaining good health, because I want to be around for my family. I
Mhm.
want to be around for my people. So staying on top of exercising. These are things that sometimes I see as a culture that we don't probably do as well as some of the other cultures. But getting out there and exercising, running, jogging, walking if you have to, but getting some daily type of physical exercise and monitoring your diet. And I just feel that I myself can do a far better job than what I've been doing, and I want to continue to try to grow in that department. So that fear drives me to, and it motivates me to be as smart as I can on improving my overall health and fitness.
Thank you,
And
Mr. Harris. I really appreciate you sharing that insight on that. But right now, we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we're going to be asking our men to give the women some advice. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's your girl, Coach Mia, asking you to join the conversation on the SNS show, hosted by executive producer Dr. Michelle Stevens, along with her co host, Coach Yava Swearington, sharing an in depth conversations on relationships, health and wellness, important issues in our society, to the highs and lows of surviving everyday life. Streaming live on YouTube at DRSNS Show. That's DRSANDSSHOW. Monthly, every fourth Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
Welcome back. Yeah, that was very, very insightful because I know that women have fears, but to hear the concerns and issues that Black men go through, because I know that is something that we don't address, but they do exist. And I thank you, gentlemen, for your words of advice. But I want to ask you, one of the things that we have a breakdown is the communication between Black men and Black women. So I want you to give your advice on to Black women on how to communicate and get along with Black men. What would you tell them? Mr. Harris, you can go first.
What I would say is lead with patience and understanding.
Mm,
Be a friend, don't be a mother, but
mm,
be a friend. And if you can do that, man, that would improve the communication process so much. And I mean, those are simple words, but putting them into action could be it's something that you have to work on.
Mhm.
If you look at the virtues in the Bible, they point to patience, they point to love. Love is patience. And if the woman could lead with those things and in communicating with the Black male, then I think that would cut down a lot of the friction and be mindful of, I want to say, sometimes I've experienced in relationships, even in counseling, some relationships, whereas the woman in the relationship would I guess, treat or speak to the man almost like if they're speaking to their child, where
Mhm.
the man
mm.
feels very little distinction between himself and the children in the home. And then that's when there's a problem. That's where a problem really starts to begin.
Miss-
At the same time, I think men need to step up and embrace their roles and act like the man as well. And, the woman shouldn't have to come home seeing the man playing video games all day, and hadn't done anything to contribute to bring in earnings into the home. So I caveat that by saying that as well. But in cases where you do have a good man who's contributing, I think if you not be mindful that you're not dealing with a child, but you're dealing with your spouse, and I think that would help in the communication process, ladies.
Mr. Harris, you said a really, really, I mean, I heard so many key points out of that just now for the communication, being mindful and lead with love. That right there, I think, says it all. And men, the other one, step up so the women can
Step
step
up.
back and
Yeah.
not do some of the things that they want to do. If you want to do it, you do got to step up and do those things. But Mr. Mr. Brown, I would love for you to hear a quick minute about what you would say about this particular topic, the advice that you would give Black women.
Yes, I would like to say for Black women that you must know that you are valuable.
Mm.
You must understand that you was built in the image of the Most High. Okay, you must understand that you are here to be an important asset to the development of the family structure. Now, the man needs affirmation because if he has a vision, he needs somebody to encourage him. Now, there's something called the five love languages. Okay, we have affirmation. Okay, we have quality time. We have gifts, acts of service, then physical touch. So you have to understand the love languages, and the man needs to understand and be versed in these love languages as well, so that the children in the home will also see it and develop into the kings and queens that they're always meant to be. It's not really hard, it just takes communication. It really, you have to have ears to hear. You have to be sensitive to how a person feels. I'm talking about the men now, because some men is so brute and so insensitive, it frustrates the woman when she's trying to pour herself out and he don't have ears to hear. And
Mm.
the children see that. And when a child sees it, especially a young man, how do you expect him to grow up and treat a woman based on your example? Vice versa. If a woman is treating the man of the house like he's a child, don't expect the children to respect that man because it comes in
Absolutely.
a
Absolutely.
relationship. Life and death is in the power of your tongue. So what you speak will manifest.
Mm.
What you say will manifest. What the music you listen to will manifest in your life. So my advice to women, you want things to get easier for you, whether a man is there or not,
Mm.
speak to your mountain. Tell that mountain that I am here and I am going to rise, and the Most High is going to grant me my heart's desire if I remain faithful and committed to the way He want me to instruct my house and my children. And when I do find a good man, I won't be afraid of that and push him away so I don't want to get hurt. A
Wow.
lot of people is attracted
Wow.
to the wrong type of men,
Mm.
thinking that's what it should be about. But a Boaz, a
Ruth.
king, one
Yeah.
that would say, no, that's not right. No, don't go out there wearing that because you're luring spirits to you. You want to attract the devils? Then be with a devil. But if you want a man that is trying to serve the Most High, trying to read and pray, and he asking you to join so that we may be blessed according to Deuteronomy 28, that's what a man is supposed to do as the head, to guide the family and to tell that woman that you are precious. You
Mm.
are mine. And the Most High granted me to have you. I didn't deserve you, but He blessed me with you.
Amen. I'm
So
sorry.
it's,
You know what? That was so encouraging. That was so encouraging. It got me over here on
Oh
fire.
man,
You
yes,
know,
I'm saying amen at the end of the day.
You pre- you preaching now. You preaching now, brother Brown.
I'm trying to hold back. I can't hold
Man,
myself.
Oh,
I'm
don't
you
hold it back. Don't
brother
hold it
Brown, I
back.
went to Deuteronomy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? Before Dr. Stevens take and say this piece that I know she's got something to come back on that, I want to say, you man, that right there, if we women and men don't get that, man, revisit this video. That's what I want to say. You need to let that sink in.
That's
Dr.
fast
Stevens,
forward, right?
yes, Dr. Stephen, please, because I got chills on that. I'm still in Deuteronomy right
Yeah,
now, and
yeah, that was
I'm somewhere
awesome.
else
That
over
was
there. Y'all
awesome.
are killing
You
it
know,
today. You're really killing this topic.
yes, y'all
Mm,
are. I'm so glad y'all had agreed to be on this show right here. This is hot. And you know what? And that takes us into our next question. Do you believe Black men are valued? Because for me, I just believe Black men are king. One thing I can't stand to see a couple of things I can't stand to see is black men walking around with their pants hanging down, conforming to what society say that how they should be or how they should act. And I place so much value on high value on black men. And when I see certain characteristics, it disappoints me. But man, it is your this question is to you. Do you believe black men are valued, Mr. Harris?
Okay, listen, in response to that question, this is life, this is reality. My response to that question is you have to value yourself first
Mm,
before anybody else will ever value you. That is
Mhm.
just life. You
that's
know, that's something that you earn, it's nothing that you can give. You have to value yourself at the job, be on time, don't be late, do your job, show up in the right equipment, show up with the right uniform, be a team player. These are all the things that instill value amongst the people that you work with, your coworker. You got to step up and you got to earn value. No one's going to give you value if you do the things that pull away from success at the job force, success at the business, success in the home. Then you're going to have disrespect. You're not going to have value, and that goes for the individual, but it also goes for our culture and society as well. I mean, this goes for the individual as well as for nations. You have to do the work that's necessary to get the respect that you want and deserve, as well as to get the value that you deserve. Um, that's my response to that. They
I
don't
love
want
that.
us to do the yeah.
I want to go ahead and take us on to the next question that I'd like to ask you, gentlemen, and that would be, what advice would you give Black men on coping with stress? Anyone can take that on.
Absolutely. To cope with the stresses of life, I meditate on the Word of God because if I was to meditate my ear gate, if I'm listening to death and destruction and suicidal music and things that is just not good for the soul, once again, it'll manifest in your life.
Mm,
Stress comes, but why do we fail? We fail so we can learn to get back up. We deal with stresses so that we can learn how to overcome our problems, to better educate and to teach our children how to overcome certain issues. Stresses can come mentally, it could come spiritually, it could come in so many different people dealing with depression, dealing with so many things. But prayer is the answer.
mm,
I've dealt with depression. I've dealt with enemies trying to tell me that I would never make it.
mm,
Suicidal thoughts that you will never make it, that you're not valuable. They don't know you don't have anything to say. Nobody will listen to you. Nobody cares about you. And it took me to have to reprogram my mind. It took me to have to pray and cry out and saying, why am I here? What is my purpose? Because without a vision, people perish.
mm,
And that's the problem with a lot of our men. They are walking with their pants down because they don't have a vision. They
mm,
don't know who they are. They
mm.
don't believe in themselves. If you don't love yourself, who can love you?
Uh, you want me to respond to the same question?
Yes.
Yeah, as far as stress, both in the military and being practicing on an attorney and business owner, I can speak to that. One of the things I would say real quick on that is know your limits. We all got limits. Know your limits, and when you've reached your limit, don't be afraid to ask for help. Go to the people who are around you who can offer you some help. And then on the personal level, that's where exercise really comes in handy. You got to get out there, you got to exercise, you got to sweat because all of that kind of just revitalizes you and gives you and provides the strength for you to go back and cope and deal with stress a lot better. Don't overeat. Try to watch your diet because when you manage your food intake, that also helps as well as coping with issues family issues, job issues, stress issues, period. And most importantly, give it to God. If it's something that's too big for you, turn it over to the Lord and then get out the way and let Him help you. Let God
Thank,
help.
thank you, Mr. Harris. We really appreciate your insight on that. Right now, we're going to take another quick break. And when we come back, we're going to have Dr. Stevens read the cherry note. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Dr. Michelle Stevens, a certified master life and wellness coach and minister of the gospel. I help women move from stagnation to certainty, uncover who they are, create goals, and build strategies to success. Schedule a 45-minute consultation with me and let's jumpstart your journey to a new beginning. You may email me at contactus@drsnsshow.com, or you may call to schedule a session with me at 866-377-7469. And let me help you heal mind, body, and soul. Step out of ordinary into extraordinary.
Welcome back. I am going to read the cherry note, but before I do, if you have a question or a concern that you would like for us to address it, write us a cherry note. You can write us at contact us at drsnsshow.com and label it the cherry note. And during our show, we will give you an answer to your note. I have a note here from a previous viewer who wrote us. She saw another show and she decided to write us. And the cherry note reads, I was very hesitant to write, but I figured why not? I'm a very private person, but I really need some help and advice. I can't talk to my family or my friends. I saw your show with the men on it. Why you can't make it to the altar? And I have a serious situation. I'm in an interracial relationship for 4 years. I'm a black woman dating a white man. I have two children, one from my previous relationship with a black man, and one from my current relationship whose father is white. Two boys, age 9 and age 4. My boyfriend and I started living together when I got pregnant, which has been 4 years, and I would like to get married. We argue every time I bring up the subject. One thing I know for sure is his family doesn't accept my oldest son and is causing some serious problems in this relationship. I now see my boyfriend is beginning to reference my oldest son as not my son. And he's beginning to show a difference between the two boys. I have asked him many times during these 4 years about us getting married, and he does everything he can to avoid the question. We don't attend any events with his family, and I will not let my oldest son go over his family's homes due to the way they treat him. I truly believe they are nice to my youngest son because he is very fair skinned. I believe if he was darker, they would disown him. I think I'm at my wit's end. We get into an argument every time I bring up the conversation of marriage. And the other night, he left the house, stayed out all night, and returned home in time to get dressed and go to work. He has done that many times when I bring up the subject of marriage. I think it's time for me to call it quits. I have given 4 years and we are at stalemate. Please help. I keep thinking about starting over, and then I think about the fact I have two children by two different men, one black and one white. And then I ask myself, how would that look? I'm a single mother with two boys. I am a black, but one has a black father and one has a white father. I think I really feel bad because I never thought I would be in such a situation. I'm educated with a good job. Please help me. Signed, calling it quits. Coach Yava.
Wow, my. That's a very deep letter. And the first thing I want to say in giving any type of advice in this particular subject is, or should I say, matter, you know, we can't choose who we fall in love with. You know, it's when it happens, whether you black or white or whatever the case may be. However, in this particular situation, there's children involved. And the first thing I would recommend is to go seek some type of counseling to see if She can get her boyfriend to go to counseling, maybe separate and together, so they can get to the heart of things that's really going on. The second thing I would say, prepare for major transformation or changes that could possibly come up, because it's been 4 years that you've been in this relationship, and maybe he loves you but doesn't know how to come and tell you that he's changing heart about what he wants to do in life. Maybe he's doing soul searching and he cannot respond if you are trying to reach out to him. He's not ready to communicate. But I do believe you have to start somewhere, and that's to see if you can get him on the same page. Maybe go off somewhere. Maybe get somebody to watch the children if they're old enough. I'm not sure what the ages are, but you got to get to a place where he can communicate with you, because you can't go anywhere if no one's responding to these heartfelt questions that you need answers to. And
Well, Coach
if you can't get to that, you may have to make the decision for yourself what you really need. But seek prayer and seek counseling. That's what I
that
say.
sounds real good, Coach Alba. That sounds real good.
Come on
You
with
know
it,
what
Doctor.
I'm
Come
gonna
on
say?
with it, Doctor
You know
Stephen.
what I'm gonna say? It's been 4 years and they're arguing. No, baby.
It's changes happening, but you know what? Sometimes
Change has happened
you
in
can
4 years.
you can say things, but you got to go about it the right way. But we got to get to the heart of matters. Again, we don't
Well,
always say
you're right.
he
You
wants it
do
kind
have
of
to get to
quick.
the heart of the matter, and I don't believe he wants to get married to her.
Well, I don't believe he doesn't want to get married to her either. But at the same time, she has to go. They have maybe it needs some adjustment. Maybe he needs to shift. The heart has definitely shifted, because if the heart hadn't shifted, he wouldn't be staying out all night, coming home, doing it. He might be trying to send her a sign, but at the same
He
time,
done sent her signs.
we don't want to go right there so quickly. We want to sit and see if she can salvage that. Seek
4
counsel.
years, four
In
years, and
listen,
the
Dr.
argument
Stevens,
is in
in
the
counseling, it will come up.
it has
The
come up.
counseling it will come up, and
It
she's going to
has
need
come
to
up.
shift.
Yes, it has come up. But
Not rush.
that's the best advice I could give. 4 years, and he argues. He don't want to get married. He don't want to get married, and she
He
does,
just
and they're not
changed
on
his
the
mind.
same page as you said. And I believe, um,
He might have never wanted to get married, but she got pregnant, and I heard in this letter she became pregnant at some point, and then they started living together, or doing whatever. And
yes,
he probably was just trying to do the right thing,
yes.
and maybe had not made his mind up about the real way he wanted to go with that relationship. But again, there's children involved. It's 4 years. We go see counseling first, then we decide whether we're going to go our separate ways. That's just the way it needs to go.
On that note, we're going to take a quick break. But before we go, if you have a product or a business and you would like to advertise on our show, or you would like to support us, please email us at contactus@drsnsshow.com, or you can call us at 866-377-7469. If you're interested in hosting your own show, please visit our website and click on the Media Production tab and schedule a session with the perfect production team. Let's bring your vision to life. We'll be right back.
I am Coach Yava Torrington, and I am a professional certified life coach and a relationship consultant. I help individuals and couples with relationship concerns. I will assist you with the tools you need to have the power to let go of a relationship that no longer serves you, and or to strengthen your relationship. I am looking forward to impacting, empowering, and restoring the sense of self. Schedule an individual or group session with me at toll-free 1-866-377-7469, extension 800#, or you may email me at contactus@drsnsshow.com. Remember, seek clarity, embrace it. That's a part of taking care of you, and you will begin to notice that the storm has settled.
There is a question that I know women are asking me to make sure I ask this question before we close out today. What I want to ask the men is something very important here, and I wanted to make sure I get that question on. What would you tell your younger self today? That is a question that I really want to jump right to. Uh, Mr. Harris, can you share, please?
That question. That's a great question. I would tell my younger self today be slow to blame the man for your shortcomings, and look within first before you blame it on society, blame it on racism. Not to say that those things don't exist, but I would take more time to look and see, did I do everything that I could have done to be the best that I can be before I complain about why something didn't go the way I thought it would go. So look within first before you complain about certain success that you might not have achieved that you thought you would have achieved. And I think I would do that. Spend less time pointing the finger at the system and more time doing the work.
All right. And Mr. Brown, your views on what would you tell your younger self today?
I would tell my younger self that knowledge is power. There's no life in the streets. And though I had a dad at the house and he was a worker, he wasn't a nurturer. And I thought that's because he didn't love me. But that's because he had to get up and work every single day and providing for us because his daddy wasn't there. And I regret not appreciating him then as I do now. So today we have a great relationship now. But I would tell myself that I never had to rebel against him. I apologize for not understanding when I was younger. But I thank God that he's alive and I can acknowledge that he wasn't my enemy. He was always there trying to be that strong example of Black male excellence.
Thank you. Dr. Stevens.
On that note, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to have our words of encouragement. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's your girl, Coach Mia, asking you to join the conversation on the SNS show, hosted by executive producer Dr. Michelle Stevens, along with her co-host, Coach Yava Swearington, sharing an in-depth conversations on relationships, health and wellness, important issues in our society, to the highs and lows of surviving everyday life. Streaming live on YouTube at DRSNS Show. That's DRSANDSSHOW. Monthly, every fourth Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
Welcome back. We are now going to share Dr. Stevens and Coach Swearington words of encouragement. What I would like to say, and is that it is a lot of great insight in this whole show today. Really take time to go back and really listen to each part because these men have given words. Not only I've been inspired listening to this, encouraged at the same time, and I also have a better understanding. I know that you will too. But one thing I will say: see Christ and God and everything and all misunderstandings, and give yourself say, "I'm sorry" to yourself, and give yourself the opportunity to understand that. It's okay that we make mistakes, but we can get up and start all over, and we can get back on the ball of things. Love yourself, love your family, and stay connected. That's what's most important. That is my advice today. Dr. Stevens, please.
Well, I want to thank you, our viewers, and our special guest today, Mr. Harris and Mr. Brown, for tuning in. And do please join us on our next show, Are You Living in Your Drama? But I want to thank they gave us so much information. It was, as Coach Java said, it was inspiring, it was encouraging, and I so appreciated them. I so thoroughly enjoyed this show. Ladies, please, if you're in need of coaching, please go to our website and book a session with me. I'm Dr. Stevens. I am a certified Master Life Coach, and Coach Yava, who is also a certified Master Life Coach. And I will leave these words. We need strong Black men, male leadership. It is vital to the Black community. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you on our next show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Make it sizzle.
Make it hot.
Make it
Oh,
hot.
yeah.